Hi guys, and thank you for joining me again for the Lisa Sports Show. I really appreciate your company. Right, before I forget, Achraf Hakimi plays for PSG. Was insanely sensational in the Champions League. All the games I watched him in, the guy is a brilliant. He's a bowler, fantastic. Yeah. Now he has been facing allegations of rape the last few years. Another footballer facing these allegations from women. And I've said it before. I've got another video where I was saying the same thing about Thomas Partey. You become a footballer and somehow your morals become fluid. So on the 1st of August, prosecutors in France officially requested that Hakimi face a criminal trial for allegations of rape over an incident that happened in February 2023. Now, a judge, they are waiting for an investigating judge to determine whether there is enough proof or evidence to proceed with formal proceedings. If convicted, that is, if Hakimi is found guilty, he is facing up to 15 years in prison. Now, the background for this allegation is that in February 2023, a 24-year-old woman said that Hakimi invited her to his home in France somewhere, Boulogne, where she claimed he kissed her without consent and assaulted her. Initially, she did not file a complaint, but later provided distressing text messages to the investigators. Hakimi was formally indicted on the 3rd of March 2023, placed under supervision, and barred from contacting the accuser while being allowed to leave French territory. So now, recent developments and defensive arguments are that investigators uncovered some WhatsApp messages suggesting premeditated plans by the accuser and the French seduce and possibly extort Hakimi. Messages like, "We're going to rob him blind and I'm going to F him up," were cited. The defense argues these messages paint the claims as part of a blackmail, a scheme. So basically they're saying, these girls want something. They want to be paid, or they just want to make my client, a criminal, because these messages show premeditation and that they basically, there was no crime that was committed. At least that is part of the defense from Hakimi's lawyers. Now, Fanny Collin, Hakimi's lawyer, called the prosecutor's request for a trial incomprehensible, basically saying it doesn't make sense. The evidence that you have shown us, that you're showing, including psychological evaluations of the accuser, say that this is not a good trial to go ahead with. Why are you following up and trying to get this case seen? Because we've seen all the evidence, and there's no way that you can be proceeding with this because it's going to destroy my client's life. By publishing something, an allegation taints you, whatever the case. Hakimi himself, of course, is denying the allegations, claiming he has been targeted for blackmail as a high-profile player. The guy is obviously minted. He's got a lot of money, and he says these were false accusations. Prominent voices, basically one of his best friends, Kylian Mbappe, says, "Oh, I've never seen him do anything inappropriate. He's very respectful to women." Now, this same case, I know he's like the darling of a lot of people, especially some men, because of the story that came out that he has all his assets registered in his mother's name. So when he and his wife divorced, she couldn't get a lot of money out of him because of this thing he did with his mother. But this was the case. So from what I know, his wife had gone away somewhere for work in Brazil. She's a supermodel, as you would be married to a footballer. And this case showed that he had been bringing all sorts of random women back to their home and doing all sorts of crazy things. So I think Mbappe is wrong on that. He's not respectful to women, definitely not to his wife. Regardless, he thinks that his friend has got no history of inappropriate behavior. Anyone who knows anything about assault and men and women and things like that knows that, until it happens to you, you won't, it doesn't really factor into your brain. So anyway, summarizing. February 2023, alleged incident in Hakimi's home. March 2023, Hakimi indicted and placed under supervision. August 1st, 2025, prosecutors request formal trial to the judge. And now we are waiting for the judge, the investigating judge, to decide whether to proceed with a criminal case. And the defense position is that they are fabricated accusations and extortion motive. Well, anyway, there's other controversies about Ballon d'Or announcements, blah blah blah. The chances of a right back winning Ballon d'Or at the moment, despite his obvious talents, are really low anyway. But that is not a legible, a believable motive. No one is trying to take a Ballon d'Or from Hakimi, although he's very good. I watched him, and that guy can run. He's incredible. But then he's got these serious charges against him. I hope he's got the evidence, CCTV, something like that to defend himself. But at the minute, it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing Hakimi playing for PSG in the coming season. So what do you think about this story? I really don't want to be talking about the motives of the alleged victims. Let's see how it plays out and go from there. But yeah, I just thought, let me bring it up. Like, Hakimi is one of the best players in the world and is facing these crazy charges. Like I said before, football players, come on. What happens to you when you get a bit of money? You need to maintain your sanity. You need to play. Just focus on your craft. Respect women. Do you think you'll be found guilty? Yeah, but they take rape accusations in Europe very seriously. And yeah, I can't wait to hear more of the evidence that has been provided and why they want him prosecuted. Thank you for joining me once again for Dalisa's Sports Show. I really appreciate your support. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to all my channels. Right. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.